So when I made the stream today, I wasn't paying attention enough because I wasn't set up to be on YouTube.
Nice.
I was like, oh, like we went live and I'm looking, I was like, oh crap, we're missing one. Whoopsie. Hi, everyone.
We also have to change the title to stop saying new card reveal.
Oh, the notification?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That I probably have to change. That's fair.
Oh. I will never take it back.
No.
Dan, you're here every Thursday. You should know that by now.
Yeah. So how are you doing, Mr. Dick Burns? You're back from your 1 week ban from TFM.
It's true. And I've thought about it. I've reflected on it. I've made this mistake in the past even.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to, apologize to absolutely nobody. So.
That sounds about right. So yeah, for those of you guys just coming in and that weren't on YouTube because we didn't actually we weren't actually live on YouTube during the pre-roll. Our question of the day is: should stores allow Arcasia's Island in events upon release? For us, we have been, obviously we are huge promoters of it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we've been finding more and more events that are in the first few weeks of March that do not have Set 7 legal. And I don't understand why. So I'm curious if it's just a me thing or if it's like an actual public thing. So if you're watching now or you're watching later, and this is like in the first 10 minutes of the show, comment on the video and let me know. But we already had they should definitely be allowed on release. All right. I love this. I'm for this. We also had once cards are for sale, I think they should be allowed with proper time for people to acquire them. You should have singles and possibly even take pre-orders, first come, first serve. I'm about it. What else do we have? So if you're playing upon release constructed, you need sealed product for sale plus singles available. There you go. I'm fine. I'm down with it. I didn't really play during this time, and I certainly didn't go to those events, but correct me if I'm wrong. Star City Games, like, they very often have events on release weekends and allow for pre-order upon pickup at SCG cons, correct?
Yeah, that's kind of like, I'm going to make a video about this that 20 people will watch, and it's going to be called Why Do Stores Have Events?
Sure.
And the short answer is to sell products. Oh, it's hat time.
Oh, man, my hat never worked. What is that? You look like Helga from Hey Arnold. What is going on right now?
It's my Tweedledee outfit.
Oh, okay.
You're wearing your Tweedledum outfit. That should be my next ICL photo.
All right, we're just gonna do the whole show like this. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, you can get. All right, I'll put AJ on you in mod chat for those words. All right. All right. None of that. All right. You don't just get to say whatever you want to Jorge. All right. Oh boy. All right, so that was a fun way to start the show, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
It's always a surprise with me. This it's why I'm not allowed on anything super official.
Oh my god. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna talk about it a little later on, but I figured, hey, we'll open it up to see how people feel about it. I think I know how I feel about it. I know how you feel about it, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. There is a listen, guys. I don't know why or how or when Thursday nights started to be like cover the drama. All right, but apparently Dick Burns loves drama.
You know
So
what? I love getting $12 instead of $8 for ad revenue. So
oh, okay, all right. Well, with that, let's talk about the drama.
yep.
So, Dick, I only copied and posted the tweet, but I forget what I was doing when this went out. Where was I? What was I doing when this went out? Because I actually didn't read this post until like 2 hours ago. So, oh, I was streaming. That's right. I think I was streaming when it came out, so I just missed it. But yeah. So, why don't you give me a brief summary of what Mr. Reclam had said in this wonderful tweet?
Well, first of all, people keep saying like this was slightly racist, something he said. I read over it. I don't know if I'm missing something. So if chat knows, let me know. So Ravensburger decided to suspend me until August 6th from official circuit. Here's the statement I sent them as part of the investigation. I understand the reason for this decision and need for self-work. I apologize to Jesse, those I disappointed, IKL, and the TCG community. So first of all, hopefully this means Worlds is before August 6th. Because he didn't say I was removed from Worlds and I am suspended until August 6th. So the fact that they didn't put him on the website as being qualified is hopefully a good thing. That
I think so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like that could have just been maybe that was like public information, so he didn't feel necessary to like say it.
Yeah.
There's that, but I don't know. Who knows?
Well, we can just hope. But yeah, so the long and short of it was that he said that since he had cheated in the past and since he wanted to set a great example going forward, he decided everyone needs to play by the exact rules to the T, whether it helps him or not. And he does understand that in this instance, it did help him. However, you know, as a lot of people pointed out in his comment section, well, it didn't help him when he didn't call it the game previous.
Yep.
So,
yep. Yeah. I have a couple things to say, but I wanted to. All right, just so we're clear. All right, I highlighted a very specific line here, and the line was, "My goal was to be technically correct according to the rules." Okay. So I just want to make this real clear for everyone that anyone that commented on the video a couple weeks ago that we, kind of went through this, and you're like, oh, well, like, he wasn't wrong. Okay. He literally went out of his way to say, I wanted to technically be correct, which means he knows he wasn't. Like, he knows he wasn't. He knows it was wrong. He literally wrote in the statement, well, I know it was wrong, but I knew I could get away with it.
He said in the statement, I knew what his intentions were, but wanted to hold him to being technically correct.
Which means he's a fucking cheater, guys. All right? He's a cheater. Period. You're never going to convince me anything otherwise. I'm never going to blame the judge, even though he was wrong. Never going to blame that guy. I'm only ever going to blame this guy. And I think that it's ridiculous that this guy even makes this statement. And I honestly, I'm not one like to be this judgmental about a situation, but wherever he does show up in that first event after August 6th, I honestly, I am like, hand to God, I'm praying that his opponent in every single round calls a judge, just because.
You can always ask for a table judge.
Yeah.
if you feel uncomfortable with your opponent, just so anyone out there knows.
So yeah, and then if everyone else saw, I added at the end you can see he wrote sorry, except he didn't anywhere in his statement. So I just wrote it on there for him real quick in the highlighter because I think you're supposed to say it at the end of these things. Not sorry. And this is the real truth. He in the statement, I had no idea of this. He's 22 years old. Okay. He's immature. That is beyond obvious at this point. He's an immature little kid that's probably never been punched in the face in his entire life, because that is the only way that you would ever make a statement like this, is if you do not understand or do not accept the fact that you actually did something wrong. And that's it. Like literally in the statement, he doesn't even really admit that he did anything wrong.
Yeah, he said like the judge was on his side. So yeah. And then he made another statement, and it was something to the effect of, in case people didn't understand what I was saying, I was right.
Yeah. like he just doubled down.
Yeah, like when you got Albert like yelling at you in your comment section, you messed up. Like he wrote the rules. Yeah. Well, he didn't write the rules. He wrote the handbook.
Albert already went and like bashed this guy anyway, but
yeah.
I just, man, that's frustrating. It really is. Like I believe very often, in times of like, all right, we can probably forgive people, we can probably let things go. But if you're the type of person that isn't even willing to admit you were wrong, that isn't even willing to apologize, like, I'm sorry, you have no hope. I have no hope for you. Like, I'm not for one moment gonna like let it go. I'm not gonna for one moment just assume like, oh, it's gonna be fine on August 10th. It's not, frustrating.
I would have, if he was going to go this route, I would have preferred the Conor McGregor. I apologize to no one. Like, just if you're going to be like, hey, listen, I didn't do it, just tweet and be like, fuck it, and move on. You're gonna get us in trouble.
It's funny. That was funny. That was funny.
Yeah. Hopefully we never have to talk about this again. But.
Yeah. At this point, at this point, I would just go on with the inevitably we'll have another reason to talk about him, because clearly he's just going to come back and cheat and get caught again. And like, hopefully at that point, Ravensburger's like, all right, guys, 3 strikes and you're out, like whatever. But
yeah. But so many people sent this to me because we made the original video. So
yeah, I got a lot of it too, but it is one of those where just frustrating. In other news this week, Mr. Dick Burns,
drama alert.
What is a storm is brewing?
Yeah, I have no idea. Let's see. Hello, fellow Lumineers. We're thrilled to announce that after much thought and reflection, we're taking an exciting step forward in the evolution of our team. As part of our ongoing growth and commitment to our fans, we'll soon be known by a brand new name, Maelstrom. This change is more than just a fresh identity. It's about embracing our future, strengthening our community, continuing to deliver the highly competitive insight and unforgettable experiences you've come to know and love. While our team may be adopting a new name, one thing will remain the same: our dedication to giving you the best content, coaching, and advice to be the best Illumineer that you can be, both in and out of a competitive space. We can't wait to begin with this new chapter with you, and we're counting on your continued support as we embark on this incredible journey together. Stay tuned for more updates and get ready for the exciting things ahead. With gratitude, Maelstrom. Yeah, so with our friends. What?
With gratitude.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, some of our friends went ahead and apparently broke off from Labyrinth and started their own thing. So, I mainly just wanted to say, good luck. Awesome. I think this is great. We'll finish the drama from the other guy and move on to good things, apparently. So,
yeah. Before we get to that, Kudos for betting on yourself is my first response. So our second one here, right, is the response for Labyrinth, right, which is a few days ago, the entire Disney Lorcana roster decided to part ways with Labyrinth TCG. As the owner of the organization, I feel that a public explanation is needed. Labyrinth TCG is a startup business that I operate as a hobby. I experience authentic joy managing this brand. It is a licensed/registered business, so I approach many aspects of the organization as such. Over the course of the year, since the inception of Labyrinth TCG, I have become more and more business minded. Unfortunately, I became so business minded that I lost the sense of the player's humanity. There is an extremely thin line between staying a friend and trying to manage the players while pressuring them to rise to greatness. I unfortunately chose the latter. I recognize my wrongdoings. However, I will consider each and every one of them as a true friend and wholeheartedly wish them the best in all their future endeavors. What we created together will forever be part of the Disney Lorcana history, and I have nothing but love for them. This is not the end of an era. This is a learning experience we all endure, and this will make us stronger in the end. I am diligently working on next steps for the organization. This organization will prevail. We will succeed. I mean, that's just, you know,
Just
between both,
typical business.
yeah, between both statements, there's not really much to take from it. There is a side of it that looks like I'm betting on myself. And there's another side of it that's saying like, hey, bad stuff happened and we're going to move forward. So interesting.
Yeah.
I don't, I sadly don't have anything to really report for you guys. It's not like I have some dirt or some detail or anything like that. But you know, it was interesting. There was, I think 2 technical streams that kind of continued the story. Wonder started it on his story a little bit, and then JDZ was streaming, and R&B came on and gave a little bit more. And I assume that over the course of time, we'll hear more and more about it. But in general, I just think there was clearly a difference of opinions, and there was enough difference of opinions to walk away. So,
yeah, I mean, I've owned several businesses where I hired friends, and like it's gone one way or the other, where like they were amazing or it ended the friendship. Funny enough, so when I owned my thrift store, I hired my parents and my grandparents mainly just sit there and like watch TV all day, and I just paid them so that we didn't get robbed. And I ended up firing my dad.
Okay.
He just wasn't good for the business. No hard feelings. I was just like, hey, gotta let you go. I mean, like at the end of the day, we have to separate business from friendship. So
yeah, and you know, yeah, sure, we'll go down this route. TFM has had issues, right? Like we're not going to sit here and say like, oh, everything is hunky dory and everything is great and everything is even. Like we've had players come on the team, we've had players leave the team. We're not as openly public about everything. You know, we're not. Oh, you fired Scott. That's actually funny. But you know, this is just teams, right? Like that's just what it is. I do think that, you know, as public as this was, it, you know, in some ways it can hurt all parties, if I'm being completely honest. So there is a little bit of risk involved even for leaving and things like that, because starting anew is not easy. Starting fresh is not easy. Obviously they have a great following and I'm sure they'll be fine. But, you know, it can be difficult to start over. But if the intentions are right, if you think it has to happen, then, you know, again, kudos for betting on yourself. And I think that that's the big takeaway here is we probably won't know really what any of this was about for maybe ever. And it certainly isn't my story to tell. So even if I were to find out, I probably wouldn't tell anyone anyway. I would definitely just leave it to them to do it because it's their story, not mine. But I do think it's interesting. And I think that it showcases, like, in a world of Disney Lorcana where, you know, a lot of it is happy-go-lucky, and we're just all like friendly. Like real shit still happens. Like at the end of the day, this was a business, and the business literally woke up to no employees. It's like that serious. So it's difficult to mix the two things from time to time, but like it is a reality that that's exactly what happens. Like you woke up and everybody quit their job.
Yeah.
So
This unrelated, because we don't know the backstory, but could be related, is like certain businesses I've had, it's been like impossible to have employees. Like when you own a card shop, it's very difficult to have employees. When I was buying and selling stuff for eBay and Amazon, like as soon as the people know how to do it themselves, there's very little downside for them to just do it themselves. Right. So like you need to find like that perfect balance of someone who's very risk adverse but very good at what they do. It's very hard to find somebody in that realm.
Yeah. Very fair. Very fair. But speaking of good news, unlike Dick Burns, who is not a member of the ICL Route 1, TFM won yesterday, guys. Woo woo. Shout out to Christian, Melissa, and Dale. Not as much Dale because he got beat by a Robin Hood mean deck, but he tried. And but yeah, it was great. The ICL round 1, we picked up the win, which was nice. Everything for them is on their YouTube channel. The live streams are always up and things like that. I think you might be able to find it on Wonder Streams. I don't remember if Wonderland keeps his video feeds up or not. I have no idea. But they are certainly on the ICL YouTube channel, which is great to see. There was a lot of highlight videos and clips that were made that I think is fun. So it was a good time. All in all, A+ effort. We were going into round 3 with the ability to be the first sweep, and instead we lost to a bunch of Robin Hoods. So
it was brutal. That deck was so much fun. It was so much fun watching, even though we were getting destroyed. I had a great time in chat all night.
AJ,
I was doing nothing.
Comments. Don't start.
I was doing nothing but talking trash all night, and the chat seemed to enjoy it. So I mean, it's nothing but fun, the entire thing. Like there's nothing on the line. So like, I think it's great to like cut WWE style promos all day, every day.
Yeah, it's really funny because we were talking about it afterwards. We were looking at the brackets and who won and who lost. And listen, you might be eating your words, bro. All right. There might be a round 2 showing with some people that you've been talking shit on. All right. So you better be ready for it.
Hopefully that's the point, right? Like John Cena doesn't like start trash talking someone on Monday Night Heat.
But yeah, so it should be fun, and honestly, I hope that's kind of what it is. Like, as it goes on, as more people have the ability and the freedom to kind of like express themselves in those ways, I do think it's fun. I think it's hilarious to me that like by default we kind of have to be these weird heels because everyone's just like too afraid to not have fun. Like they're just like, oh, it's all cute, it's all fun. It's like, guys, like we can have some fun. Like it's okay. Like it's all right to make fun of someone as long as it's in like good faith, which is exactly why I can punch jabs at Dale for getting beat up by Robin Hoods. Like it's all fun, guys. It's all fun.
Yeah, we need other teams to start talking trash because let's be honest. All right, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
No one else has a personality but me. And like aside from Villain Club, they're all great. No one else has a personality but me. I put ICL on the map. Okay, that promo I cut on Villain put ICL from in front of maybe 50 eyes all the way to what is it, the LC triple Z7?
I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Like it got everyone talking about the ICL and the things that can happen in the ICL. All right, and I made the ICL,
and now look at you.
Now look at me. Looking like the birthday boy.
Oh my god. What is going on? What is going on? Okay. All right, guys. Seriously.
We're getting serious now.
No, we're not. But we know all the cards of set 7. Is that exciting?
Yes. I wish, I really, like I said, Natalie didn't upload this yet. Like I'm going to say, anywhere between today and 5 years from now.
Future past Dick said future stuff that past year said.
I'm so glad that we only had 2 weeks of reveals because I've only ended a couple of friendships this time. All right. Usually it's like you have a whole month to argue with people. But I do wish they waited still closer to the set release because people are still fighting over hypotheticals.
Right.
Even though they could, just like make the decks on Dreamborn and actually, when people sit down and think about all the cards they said they were putting in their deck and they realize their deck is 172 cards,
right.
It's a problem.
Right. Sure. I mean, you're not wrong.
I know.
But it is a little funny. And hey, some people listen. Sometimes you gotta let them dream, right?
I try to reason with people once.
Okay.
And when they want to argue, then it's over.
Okay.
And by over, I mean I'm not talking to them anymore, and the friendship is done. Oh god.
I'm pretty excited. I do think that I'm shout out to Dreamborn. They already have the whole set up on Dreamborn, which is awesome. There was like a huge dump in the Discord today, like in the official Discord, of just like all of the cards and all the languages. So they were able to get them up, which is awesome. Very, very nice, because now we can start building decks and start making content around it. I'm so excited. Because it's not fun doing it without decks, because people are always like, oh, what do the deck lists look like? And you're like, well, there's only like 5 cards in Dreamborn, so I couldn't actually make a deck, so but it was fun. I think I guess just like, what are your overall thoughts of the set? Are you happy, sad, medium?
I think the set's great.
Okay.
I don't know if like the Sapphire universe we're about to live in is good for the game, but I think that there are definitely impactful cards, which like when we're getting this many cards, we're getting 204 cards every 3 months. It's hard to like cut other cards that we're used to playing, so like it is a good thing that people want to play 170 cards, right? They do have to whittle it down, but I do think that there are a decent amount of cards in this set that are going to be highly impactful to the metagame, which is a big win for Ravensburger, because currently people don't have a reason to buy cards. But like if they're going to be losing at locals, then maybe they have to buy cards. Like we've had some set releases where we're just like, yeah, just play your Ruby Amethyst deck from set 3 and you're good.
Yeah.
So
and I think Ruby Amethyst is like a core one right now that I'm currently convinced that you cannot play that deck right now. So
yeah, it's nice. I'm pretty sure that deck is at least tier 2.
Yeah, I think it's definitely taken some hits. And it's really only taking the hits because it has not gotten a real upgrade. Like, even Ruby Amethyst, it's not necessarily the best Shark deck either. So you're really talking about like 2 sets of cards that Ruby Amethyst didn't get functionally that much help. Even by the end of the set, like they were also kind of getting away from genies and going back to rabbits. So it's just interesting to me that like as it developed and as the decks became more and more successful, they just didn't get any real tools, and then it just continued to show that like they got no tools again. So at what point does the strength of the Amethyst core from set 2 finally just like not have enough? And we can make the same comment about Amber for what it's worth. Like at what point is Rapunzel, Cinderella, and Ariel just like, that's all Dick, I'm gonna be honest, there's not a single playable Amber card, like Amber only, there's not a single playable Amber card in set 7. Doesn't exist.
That's great, because I love playing Amber Steel, so if I don't have to think about adding any new cards, that's great for me, because singing is still, I'm gonna say it, broken.
It's broken.
Singing is still broken. Ruby Amethyst, this was like Conor McGregor versus Mayweather, right? Mm-hmm. Conor looked great in the first 3 rounds. Yeah. And then Mayweather is Sapphire. All right. He let all the other colors look great, and then boom, just finishing things.
Yeah. So, all right, while we're all here again, right? Before we move forward into this conversation, I'm going to ask one more time. All right. And the question is, should stores allow Arcasia's Island in events upon release? And this means, if your store has a 1K planned on the opening weekend or the following weekend, like if it's March 8th or March 15th, like should set 7 be legal for those tournaments? Let me know. I'm very curious because this is a conversation that Dick and I have been having a lot recently, like a ton. I mean, so I'm like very, very curious on like what it is. So if you haven't, right, let us know. While we're doing that, Dick, can you tell me some of the benefits to having, these cards being legal upon release?
Benefits as of the players or the store?
Let's say the store.
So the benefits of the store are you are going to sell your product and you're going to sell it before people can ship it online at a discount. Especially if your customers are stingy, this might be the only time you're going to sell sealed product where you actually make a profit. Not only that, if you open any amount of product, you're going to be able to sell the singles in person without paying shipping or TCG player fees. So if you're a store, this is like every set release is like kind of like the time that you can make money. Like if you're a store, you're basically a teacher. Like you get summers off, except your summer is every 2 months that you're not selling much product because people are saving up for the next set release. So yes, stores, the benefit, they actually get to sell something for once. If you're a player, the benefit is you've been playing with the same cards for at least 3 months in the same meta. And if you're someone that likes to brew stuff, this is going to be your best shot of actually winning a tournament when you catch people completely off guard. So the downside, if you are a player, is you might be paying a premium for the stuff. But if you are the type of person who's going to be playing in an event that's like a 1.5K or a 10K tournament or whatever big tournament, you should feel like you have a good chance of winning that and that the small investment now is well worth it.
Yeah, I kind of get behind this, right? So for for Azurite Sea, opening day of release, well, the day after release, we held a 1.5K at the Encounter Comics and Games, and the event sold out with 48 players. Honestly, it sold, I think, 55 seats for that event, but we couldn't fit anywhere. We actually had a 49 players. I remember we technically didn't have a 50th, like a 25th table, but we were allowed to allow 49 players to sign up because there could be a buy and it would be okay. So these were players, right? We're not talking about like just players in Lehigh Valley, by the way. We had players drive 2-3 hours to play and participate in this tournament on the opening weekend of Azurite Sea, of Azurite Sea. So guess what? It was so good. It was so successful. We're like, hey, we're going to do it again. And, here we are on February 20th. Happy birthday, Brian. Shout out to you, by the way. And there is already 32 of the 48. Actually, I think it's now 34 of the 48 seats are already pre-registered, prepaid for. People are already committed to playing in this tournament, and we're still 3 weeks away, and it's just like in the middle of Allentown. Like it's in the middle of nowhere, greater Philadelphia area, that players are excited to play with set 7. And I bring this up because as a player, in my humble opinion, number one, this Azurite Sea metagame is the longest metagame to date. Because of the 2-week extension to set release, generally speaking, the set should be releasing tomorrow. But it's not, because Ravensburger had said that, with the 2 month or with the holiday, they basically included the Christmas and New Year's as part of like a business holiday on the year. So they actually extended to 2 weeks of set release because of that. They planned for it. So that means this whole set now went 2 weeks longer than any other scheduled reset. Also, Set 7 was the first one that was, like a questionable thing. Like, we didn't know all the rules for set 7 because when the game first came out, we knew the rules for set 1 through 6 were going to be stores get it 2 weeks early, big box get it 2 weeks later. That's how we always knew it was going to be. Now, we learned this for at least now. We don't know. We didn't get a greater statement than this, but for now, we know that has remained the same. But it's still an extra 2 weeks. So as a player, and definitely players that all they have done for the last 3 months, well, 3.5 months, is go to their leagues on a weekly basis, maybe attended a local 1K or something like that, and of course set championships. Like, they have now been playing that metagame already for 3 months. We've already reached the limit of what we are used to. And we're normally excited because, like, oh, cool, this weekend I'm going to go open up packs. I'm going to be able to play with new cards, yada, yada, yada. That's not even happening. Now we have 207 cards or 204 cards already, plus the enchanteds, and we have all this information, and we have to wait 3 weeks to play with it. So, like, for me specifically in this particular situation, I think stores should be foaming at the mouth to allow this set into their tournaments, because players on average should be foaming at the mouth to play with these cards because of just like sheer boredom of playing with the same set for so long. But I don't know. I understand some points of it, right? And I understand that I am definitely probably different than most people. Not everyone that plays Disney Lorcana buys 100 boxes of Disney Lorcana or more, right? So for me, having a playset opening weekend it's just like it already exists, right? Like, in my mind, I can already play any deck in the game on that Saturday, but I know that I'm like a very small percentage of Disney Lorcana. But I ironically think the game gets away with it again, because in this particular set, some of the most powerful cards are commons and uncommons. Like, yes, there are some star-studded legendaries and rares, and there are some ones that you're like, oh man, I really want to get into that. But if you told me opening weekend, I'm going to play in some tournament that gave me a 1.5K, or, we can talk about this one too, or, 10 cases, right? Like, these are 2 events opening weekend. Guess what, guys? Southside Gaming, 150 players, they're sold out. You can see it right there.
Been sold out.
Of 150 role players. This is set 7 legal, right? So you're telling 150 players are traveling to Miami to play with set 7. But what the secret here is that if all I need for my Ruby Sapphire deck is a Sapphire Coil and maybe a Bell, well, that's commons and uncommons. Awesome. If I wanted to play an aggro deck, and don't worry, guys, we're going to make a picture video all about this, but if I wanted to just play an aggro deck, I can just play Amethyst Steel Dock and literally just put Cobras in my deck, and my deck is just like, it's literally just better. So, and this is just 2 like simple examples. If you just wanted to play and be successful and not break the bank, you can do it at the cost of commons and uncommons. Not difficult at all. And it's like really super straightforward. So, do I expect the metagame to be broken on March 8th? No. Do I expect people to show up and have crazy, Sapphire Steel item decks and crazy Ink Geyser deck? Yeah, I do. Because that's what people are excited for. But it's not telling everyone, like, hey, you don't have to spend $400 on brand new cards to participate in a tournament. You can just spend a couple dollars, get your deck, go into the event and play, and then develop further. And not to mention, if you told me if all I had to do was buy 4 of an uncommon to play Amethyst Steel week 1 and go in and I can top 8 and all of a sudden I just like win a case, like what am I buying product for anyway? Like, I just spent, let's just go high. Let's just say I spent $10 on 4 uncommons. I bet on myself in the deck that I already was good with that I'm just going to win a case. So why would I even buy product? So I don't know. That's why for me, I think the system is literally presented to you to give you the best ability to actually get the best of both worlds if you wanted to take it that way.
Yeah, I think that I can name 5 stores around me that if they had a 1K, you're not getting the cards that you need. Okay. And those stores should just run release events, like sealed release events. And they should cater to the players that don't want to go to a 10 case tournament or a 1.5K. But I think that the players that want to actually go to a 1.5K, like that's another thing. Like some people are answering, and not even in our chat here. Like some people are answering in private chats I'm in, who I have never seen at a competitive event before.
Sure.
So it's like, I don't know why you're bothering answering. Like, yeah, of course you don't want the new set to be legal. You don't buy cards ever. So like, if you're someone like, if you're looking for competitive players, if you're running a 1K or higher, you're looking for competitive players only. Right? Because the casual players are going to feel fleeced when they walk in and they spent $40 or whatever, and everyone is playing with all the best stuff. So that's one thing. Two, at the end of the day, it is a trading card game. Like, you don't have to just buy 4 of every card day one. You and your 3 friends can all buy a couple of boxes and probably get what you need if you're not all greedy about it.
Right.
Like, there are plenty of options out here. So I just think that a lot of stores and a lot of businesses don't understand the business of trading card games, and they are trying to make every single person happy, whether that hurts their bottom line or not. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. And really the conversation started, and it's not even because of the week one. It's, to me, it's certainly because of the week two. But there are events in my area, there are events in your area that are legitimately, a week after release, a full week after release, and they're like, oh, we're not going to have set 7 legal. And I'm like, I don't even want to come to your store. Like, you literally just told me don't come.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, like,
this event is not for you.
If I wanted to, and we're talking about, like, listen, there's a legitimate reason for me to get on a plane and fly somewhere for some of these events, because I'm like, you know what, this is going to be for another YouTube video, like for another podcast, but like my goals in Disney Lorcana have changed this year. All right, it's a very different year for me than it was last year. And my goals are pretty much incentivizing me to play Disney Lorcana as often as possible. So if from day one, I'm like, all right, here's set 7, we're going to hit the ground running, we're going to be prepared for like whatever it is, and you're like, hey, it's not even legal. Well, then you literally just eliminated your whole store from my existence of my brain. You mean nothing. So I think that that's the problem, is that it's very focused. And to me, as a store, it makes no sense to not do it. It's either run a tournament with just sealed product, which is also just fine. That's great if that's what you want to do, right? But shout out to JDZ Quest. Thank you for the raid, buddy. I see it over here now because I got the screen up. Thank you. But like, if you're gonna host a constructed tournament and it's not gonna be with set 7 and it's after its release, I don't even know who your audience is. I literally don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if owning a store is your hobby, whatever. But like, if it's your business, if it's your income, you have a fiduciary duty to make money, sell product. Yeah. Whether it's selling the singles or the boxes to your constructed players or selling sealed tournaments.
Yeah.
That is, I think, should be the biggest takeaway from here. Because some of the arguments I'm seeing are, well, my boxes aren't going to be in yet from TCG player.
Yeah. It's like,
well, why are you running the tournament?
Yeah.
It's just to sell other people's stuff for them.
Yeah.
Like, you are paying the rent in your space.
Right.
Sell your stuff.
Yeah.
I just want stores to be successful. If everyone's buying everything on TCG player, like, where are we going to play the cards?
Right. You know? And like, listen, we'll go back to this, right? We'll talk from experience. Okay.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk from experience. Okay. Because again, we push the Encounter. They are basically, for all intents and purposes, an official sponsor of the Forbidden Mountain. Okay. I should put their logo on the new jerseys. I swear to God, I should.
Yeah.
But like, the point is that this store can only hold 50 people. We just told you it's 49 players. And let's just say the number of boxes purchased was 100 boxes. Okay. Well, guess what? By Sunday afternoon, there were 0 boxes left in that store. This store literally sold every single box it purchased for probably between $110 $120.
And almost all the singles. It's like
Oh yeah, the singles, it was cleared out.
yeah, like we don't work there, but we have eyes. Like we could see that the case was empty.
Yeah.
And this is a store that keeps like stuff on hand. It's not like
honestly,
because most people might think like, oh, my local game store singles got cleared out. Okay, that was $20.
No. This is like, shout out to Keith. He's doing from day one, from the moment that the encounter was invested in Lorcana, I knew that I had to be a part of them, and I knew that I had to get on, like literally on board with them, because from day one, he has always been interested in seeing Disney Lorcana in our community succeed. In all honesty, I say this all the time. Philadelphia sucks for Lorcana. Like, there is no competitive scene. There's just local league nights that are playing for $30. Like, that is the best thing that I can do anywhere within an hour from my house. So I have to go to Greater Philadelphia to these stores that are committed to hosting bigger events. This store is 90 minutes from me, like 85 minutes if I'm being, for real. But it's like, they're the only ones that are committed to Lorcana. So therefore, I have to commit to Lorcana. But this guy, like the other day, he shared video. He just bought, like, I don't know, a $10,000 collection or something like that. Like he's like, hey, you want to foil out your, I don't know, your Amethyst Steel Dock deck? You got it. You want to foil out your Ruby Sapphire deck? Here it is. Like, the collection was unreal. So going in 2 weeks from now, people are going to walk into there, and I swear I don't even know where he's going to put everything, because he just bought a whole collection and he's going to have another 30 or 40 boxes worth of singles also in the, I don't even know where it's all going to go. But that's the thing that he's able to do. Like, he knows already, like, we're 3 weeks from the tournament. It's going to sell out. SSG sold out. Guess what, guys? At the end of the weekend for SSG, you think they're going to have any Set 7 products laying around? No, they're not. So I say this all the time. Success leaves clues. These stores have been doing it. And SSG, for what it's worth, they did the same thing. I didn't know it at the time, but we raided them. Like, I actually did use the raid button, guys, on Twitch that day. It happened. We raided SSG that day, and they had a 98-player tournament in Miami for opening weekend. So they doubled down. We doubled down. It's all there. Like, the audience that you want for a tournament that is more than $1,000 in prizes or store credit or product, like whatever it is, it's not the audience that doesn't want to play with your Set 7 cards. Like, if you're going to run that tournament, run the tournament with the cards. Like, everybody wants to play with the new cards. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
My rant's over.
Final thing. James said to me, hey, one of the locals asked us if we could do something. All right. I'm not going to say what, because I'm not going to call him out for asking this. And James said, do you think this is something we should care about? And not because we don't care about this person, but just like, I already highlighted that.
I was in my rant. I didn't even see it. Shout out to Cordy.
Like, not because we don't care about this person's opinion, but you just cannot bend over backwards for everything. You have to just decide what kind of business you are.
Yeah. And then, as far as I know, most businesses should be in the business of making money. I'm just saying. All right. We've had some fun. Has a couple shout outs. What's up, our dear friend Dan? How are you? I also saw, again, shout out to JDZ. He came in the middle of rants, which is great. I love him, but he did raid us, so thank you, sir, as always. And then we had a wonderful wizard that popped in also. So
yes,
hello to all our friends. All right, Dick. So now that we have already expressed that we want to play with new cards, right now for what it's worth, and hey, we might be playing with new cards sooner than everyone realizes. I can't say for sure, but like, there's someone there we play cards that like already might. I'm just saying, guys, it's possible. All right, it's possible that you might see some new card content coming soon, which is exciting because I think it's important because everyone wants to see new cards. But Dick, you have a very interesting take. Okay,
I don't know how it's that interesting.
Okay, so to me,
I
it's not to me at all, right?
okay.
But just so I can let me set the scene for Mr. Bick Burns here. All right. Uh, most people think this card is toxic and it's bad for Disney Lorcana. You do
And
not agree with them.
I think this card is awesome for Disney Lorcana. I think this is great because, you know, let's look at Christian's match from the ICL last night where he just had 14 ink in play, a full grip, and his opponent, for, you know, as Melissa likes to say, for all intents and purposes, could do nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Christian could just do whatever he wanted. Dirtle, 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 dirtle. 14 ink, win the game. That's exactly how the game went. Dirtle, 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 dirtle. 14 ink, win the game. So, like, and like, you know, Ink Geyser, I don't even think it's that great of a card because, like someone just pointed out, half the decks will just crush you if this is your game plan. Like the dock deck doesn't need to get off 3 ink.
The dock deck is living for this card being good.
The fact that you could just like ink your goats and stuff and not even feel bad because they might be coming back to you at some point is crazy. So like what I think Ink Geyser does more so than even seeing play, which obviously it will see play. People will build decks around it.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it is one of those checks and balances in deck building of like, how am I going to play Ruby Amethyst? How am I going to just get to 7 ink on turn 7 to play a Be Prepared when my opponent can just Ink Geyser me on turn 6? It's not like you have like Fishbone Quill, any sort of ramp at all to like surprise. I get to play my Be Prepared not on turn 7. You can't shift sing it in the current builds, right? So like
not current builds, no.
How do you bring a deck like that, a very slow, grindy, not tempo-based deck whatsoever, very much card advantage deck? How do you justify bringing that to a tournament if you expect Ink Geyser to be even 1 or 2 of the matches you're going to see in the day?
Yeah.
And I think that's really good for Disney Lorcana. Just like how I thought Genie was really good for Disney Lorcana, which I know like at the time was also one of those things that half the people were like, this card's great for the game. Half the people are like, this is so toxic, it's unbeatable. Yeah.
Or those people that are like, oh, no one's gonna cut Rabbit.
Yeah. So like I think Ink Geyser, just like some other cards, I don't know if they're on some list you're gonna say, so I'm not gonna say them now. I think that they provide good deck building restrictions that are healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's notable. Like, I mean, I released a video the other day about it, but it's notable the comments that even the designers made about this card and the concept of like you can only do it in this 1 ink combination. It is uninkable. It's not particularly easy to always be ahead of your opponent to make the most use out of this card. So there's a lot of things that are working against it, in my opinion. But I think, I mean, it says Ink Geyser a bust down here. I'm a big fan of this card. It is probably what I'm going to spend my entire month of March playing until I find one that I think is actually good enough. Because I think that if you ask me, I'll give a shout out to AJ here. AJ and I have been talking about this card for a week now since it was released. And I'm not kidding when I say there might be 8 different ways to build this deck to start. The deck list that Colby sent us earlier had 79 cards in it.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. Not promoting that one, guys. But it is just the idea that when you have one card gives this much potential and this many conversations and choices, I mean, how can it not be good? Like, how can it not be good for the game? Like, if you have literally one card in the set that can cause this much of a combination.
No. And when this was originally spoiled, I wasn't even thinking of all these like broken combo decks. I was just like, man, we could play Sapphire Emerald aggro. Like, that's never been a thing. Sign me up. 0-2 Hiram that quests for 3? Sure.
I think it's funny because I talked about this like a while ago, but I remember in set 1 I played like an Emerald Sapphire aggro deck, and I literally, it was so awful, but it just beat all the new people because they couldn't stop the random 2 and 3 lord ward characters. They were just like so good, and I actually felt like it was better for me to play a deck like Ruby Amethyst to let my opponents play the game than it was to win on turn 5. I don't think it's the exact same thing here, but it is funny that, just one card just says all the conversations. I think it's at least a healthy thing for now. If it ends up being broken in half and my opponents all hate me after games, I don't think it could be any worse than when I bend my will of my opponent either. So I don't know.
And at least those probably won't be in the same deck together.
It doesn't seem like they should be currently. In my early theory craftings of this deck, I don't think those two decks go together. Hey, Dick, why don't you talk about the wonderful and oppressive unconventional tool here?
Okay, so what? It's a 1-cost inkable. When this item is banished, you may pay 2 less for the next item you play this turn.
Yeah.
So, am I blind?
No, it's not in there.
Okay.
It's not in there.
I was gonna say, I don't know how far you want me to go with this conversation about conventional tool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going around the internet, and one of those things, actually, very interesting, right, is that people want to play a turn 1 unconventional tool to then play their Bell Apprentice Inventor to banish their unconventional tool, so they can pay 2 less to play their next item, which in some ways is going to be Sapphire Coil. So we are going to play 4 cards on turn 1 to play Sapphire Coil.
And a 3/3.
And a 3/3. And I don't think you should do that. So
yeah,
don't.
And then we're probably going to swiftly lose the game because we only have 3 cards in our hand.
Right. So I made a list that didn't do any of those things because you shouldn't do it. You should, if you want to play this card and you want to like do cool stuff with it, then like play a deck that looks like this, not one that has Sapphire Coils and Bells, and like our whole goal is to play Sapphire Coil on 1. Don't play Sapphire Coil on 1, and honestly, don't play unconventional tool either.
Yeah, like the big talk has been the Bell, obviously, and the Bell is very good.
Yeah.
Last night, my wife yelled at me because I was writing an article on my phone and I was blinding her about how
you can turn your screen down.
I'm a 75-year-old man, right? I need my screen full brightness. Half the time I pull my phone out of my pocket, the flashlight's on. Okay, and I don't know how it got turned on. I am that level of old man at this point in my life.
There you go.
So I was just writing an article about how misunderstood this card is, because it's a fantastic card.
Yeah,
it might be too good of a card. Okay, however, if you build a deck where your goal is to have 3 cards in your hand on turn 1, you're just going to lose the game. All right, there are plenty of things that can banish this Bell. And what was your game plan, to quest for 20 turns in a row?
In the event we somehow don't know the card we're talking about.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, I mean, she's incredible at stopping aggro decks, right? Which is why she might be broken, because that was like the one kink in the armor of Ruby Sapphire, was like, well, I'll just go under it. I'll barely get under it. I'll peat for the extra turn that I need, and I'll win the game. Okay. And now it's like, I play Curse Merfolk. I play Bell. Like, okay, we'll go to the next game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. But the things that people want her to do, she doesn't do. And she does an amazing job at the things that she does do, which is be a great defensive card or a great singer, right? But like the fact that people are like, oh, I can throw this in my like Huey Birds deck. It's like, I'm going to add 8 1-cost items that do nothing but draw a card, and 4 of this to the Kiwi Birds deck. Who knows what we're cutting? Probably nothing, right? We're just playing 72
cards, baby.
Yeah. But like, you know, I think the most important thing is she costs 3. She's a hero, princess, inventor, and she can challenge the turn after you play her.
I mean, I will add that she can sing songs.
Yeah, that's why I said cost 3. Also, if you are in the wheel version, if you're in the wheelhouse, she's fantastic, right? Because it doesn't care. Like, it doesn't matter that you've lost anything. If you're going to wheel anyway, that's perfect, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this card's. I think I said this yesterday on stream. I think it's like potentially the best card in the set. But it's for all the same reasons why I think Diablo was the best card in the set. Like this card will allow you to break the rules of Disney Lorcana when it happens. Is it as oppressive as a Diablo that starts drawing cards along with removing stuff? Probably not, but
No.
but it is a lot more deck building friendly. All the cards that we're playing are probably inkable, so we're not like as restrained, which means we get to play with our uninks in like different fashions. But yeah, I mean, like, dude, a 3/3 on turn 1 is it's really good. It's really good. And just about every ink combination is going to want to consider any Sapphire deck has to at least understand that when they are being built now, that if the best decks in the game are Ruby Sapphire and they are Sapphire Steel, if you want to try and contend with these decks, you have to understand that they will likely have a 3/3 in play on turn 1. Like, that is now going to be a part of their mulligan condition on average. So because of that, you have to go, all right, well, how do I compete with this? Like, what do I have to do that like actually can contend with this 3/3 body that just can do whatever the hell it wants for several turns? Now, right now we don't live in a world where one jump ahead is like the standard, but the idea that this card can sing one jump ahead on turn 2 enables like just another new line back into the Disney Lorcana that we just didn't have before. In Sapphire Steel, the idea that we have Strength of a Raging Fire and Let the Storm Rage on and like whatever the hell else we want to just put into our deck that makes sense is great. And I think that those are the things that it will do best. It's not about it's not an aggro card really at all. Like it's just like the best version of Cinderella Ballroom Sensation for like one extra step. Like
Yeah.
Cinderella Ballroom Sensation is one of the most powerful cards in Disney Lorcana, and it's one of the most negative play experience cards as well. When your opponent goes turn 1 Cinderella, and you're just like, man, am I going to play the game? Like, I don't even know if I'm going to play the game. And that sucks. Now we have another card that does it. That's a 3/3.
Yeah, but it is a huge deck building restriction. Like, if you're on the 8 pops, 4 of her, 4 of each song, that's a third of your deck.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as oppressive as people think it is, except for the fact that it shores up like dealing with aggro for Ruby Sapphire. Like Sapphire Steel already dumpsters aggro.
Yeah.
So like really the Ruby Sapphire, like the odd chances that you do get it on turn 1 or 2 and you didn't like throw away your whole hand to do so, it I think is massive and not great for the game.
We shall see. We shall see. So before we go on to the next one, we'll engage chat again. Chat, I think most of us can agree on what like the best cards in the set are, but I think you could have a real fun conversation around like what are the cards that probably aren't exciting at first glance, but when you went back and looked at the set again, you're like, oh, okay, maybe this card's good. Dick picked one that ironically I don't think I'll ever play. So I think it's really funny because that's how clear light and day it can be. Like one person might read it and be like, oh, this is, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? And that's the conversation we can kind of have here. Dick, tell me why you like Penny so much. I literally dumpstered this card. Like I actually dumpstered it. So I'd love to know why you like Penny.
So to preface, I don't know if she's going to see play. If someone tells me this card's trash, I'm not going to be offended by this.
Okay.
So, but what she does is she does a lot of things that I like to do in Amber Steel. So it's a card that actually quests for 2 that's inkable, and it is a spell. It's an action on a character. It's not Lilo, which is like, just feeds into removal. This is another thing I talked about on the Lore Chronicles video that we'll see if it ever comes out, is like when you're building a deck, you have to pick if you are going to allow your opponent's removal to be good or not. And one of the ways that you allow your opponent's removal to be good is you play characters that do absolutely nothing. So like Gontu, right?
Yeah.
If you have Gontu in your deck, you can now just play all the big statted characters because your opponent's removal is already good against you. Whereas something like Penny, like, for one, I think it works really well with Mr. Smee. Before Bell was a card, one of the things was like Mr. Smee was questing for 4 before it got TPO'd down a decent amount of time, right? They would have had to have like Grandma Tala or Maui to actually deal with it. Whereas Penny can not only heal Mr. Smee back to full health, he won't take that damage again at the end of the turn because it has resist that turn. So I think it combos well with Mr. Smee. On an empty board, you can play Penny, and it doesn't die to like let the Storm Rage on. Something that like you just don't like. If you top deck this, you're not like, all right, I top deck actual garbage. Like at least it quests for 2. It only costs you 2. Something really cheap that you can play before you sing A Whole New World, or that you can play after you sing A Whole New World to put a lot of pressure in play. Like it's very common to just want to like turn 5 Whole New World Pete, play 2 1s or play a 2, put as much lore in play as you possibly can. And then another thing is like in my match with Ferranti, I did not quest with one of my characters on 1 turn because I didn't want him to rush in a Fox, which he ended up having. Whereas I could have just like played Penny that turn, not been worried about it, stuff like that. Like, and at the end of the day, if I draw her and she was unnecessary, I can ink her. I don't know if I can cut any cards from the deck for her to be in it, but I think it's interesting that I'm not seeing anyone talking about this card whatsoever, when like if this was printed as just an Amber card or just a Steel card early on in the game, it's just like really good compared to most cards that were printed at the time.
Yeah, I think in the end that this Amber Steel strategy is dead. Which is therefore, I think that this card is not going to see a single light of day of play that's going to matter.
No, you can't kill Amber Steel. I love Amber Steel.
That's just where I'm at. That's where and listen, again, I can be wrong, and I got no problem being wrong. I just think the way the game looks right now, I don't know how Amber Steel ever survives. Healing my Smee and giving it resist 1 means nothing when my opponent just inks a card and brawls it anyway. Like it just it doesn't even matter. Like,
well, yeah.
So like the idea that like this is the line that we are hoping to set up, and your Ruby Sapphire opponents just be like, we don't care. I just don't see it. I just don't see this card getting any love, if I'm being honest. I chose Show Me More. And I chose Show Me More because I think this card is actually just insane. Drawing 3 cards for 2 ink is, I mean, it's egregious. And you know, I hear a lot of naysayers out there like, oh, let your opponent draw 3. Yeah, listen, when I'm on like 17 lore in my Amethyst decks, all I want to do is draw goats and bounces. Like that's all I want to do. All I want to do now is draw Cobra. Like I don't want to do anything else. I just want to close the game out without even interacting with my opponent. So I don't care how many cards my opponent has in their hands. Like they could have 13 cards. Ain't gonna matter. I'm gonna win the game. So that's what I love about this card. I think it's one of those cards. I haven't really heard anyone talk about this card. I think I'm the only person, in all honesty, that's like excited for this card.
Oh no. So I did not even consider talking about this card because James has texted me or called me about this card every day since it's been
Southern
spoiled.
Dan confirmed. Southern
Yes,
Dan confirmed.
yes. He is like, bro, we can just burn people to death. He's
Yeah.
like, this deck is so good. Like, he is all about it.
Yeah,
He's
listen,
buying the Enchanteds day one.
don't tell me about this. All right, I already know. It makes me sad. It was not on my bucket list for this card, and oh my god, the Enchanted is fire. It's so bad. Yeah, I don't know. I think this card's actually insane. Like, just cracked.
Oh yeah, I'm not in a lot of discussions with people, mostly the Eastern North Carolina people, which are clueless. So I thought people were talking about this card because I mean this card's fantastic.
Yeah, I think this
like people were playing Chromacon. Are you kidding
yeah.
me?
Yeah, exactly. I draw 3 cards over the course of the turns. No. I draw 3 cards right now.
Yeah,
right now. All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, so now we get to have the other fun conversation about cards that people think are good, but we think are bad. This is like one of my favorite things to do because people get really upset. Like, all right, like listen, before we get to that, before we start making people mad in chat, all right, because we're gonna make some people mad in chat. If there is anything out there, guys, that you think you're like, oh, this card's it, and it's on our list, I'm sorry, not sorry.
I mean, I'm completely willing to be wrong. Like,
Yeah, always.
I keep saying I'm the worst player on TFM, and I'm not lying about it.
Nate's in it. Nate is in it. He's in it to win it, guys. He's in it to win it. All right. Here we are. Okay. We're gonna let you start. Tell me how not good Glass Slipper is. I already did this. We can already go back in time and look at my clippable moment. All right. I already trash talked this to hell. So go ahead. You tell me what you love or not love about Glass Slipper.
Again, I already did this too. You just haven't seen it yet. Guys, listen, I don't pitch to that channel ever. You got to watch that channel. I was the Incredible Hulk. I was screaming angry. Okay. Whenever this video magically comes out, everyone go tweet at Willoughby's. Say edit video. So the Glass Slipper, okay, is trash. It's actual trash. Good thing it's made of glass because we got to smash this thing up and throw it in the dump. Okay. I thought, man, this card is so cool, right? Very thematic, stuff like that. And then people started talking about putting it in their actual decks. Like, a lot of my local players play themed decks, and I think that's awesome. And I would love to have a theme deck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They are all enchanted. And there's a point to that also, by the way.
So I absolutely love that there are fun cards in the game. There should be. It is a Disney game. Like, I feel like people forget this, that it's a Disney game. There should be fun cards in the game. So I'm not dumping on those people. But the people that want to play this in like a DLC, rest in peace DLCs, what are they thinking? Okay. Banish this item. Okay. Exert one of your Prince characters. That's where people stop reading. They read banish this item. Search. It's like they Sharpied out. Exert one of your Prince characters. Search your deck for a princess character. Reveal it. Put it in your hand.
Yeah.
Cherry on top. Everyone wants to go get Cinderella.
Yeah.
Okay. To put this back on the bottom of the deck and gain 3 lore. Spoiler, you didn't gain 3 lore. Unless that prince had reckless, you didn't gain 3 lore. You gained 2 lore max. You lost a prince. It was probably a 1-2 Simba. It traded with nothing.
Well, the other thing is, and this is actually important, and I don't know that people know this.
The prince has to be in play already.
Right. So like, you can't just be like Glass Slipper Prince, exert my prince. You can't actually do that.
Yeah.
So that means your prince has to be in play for a full turn also.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
You know what else is uninkable that gains a lot of lore? Flute. Just go back to fluting people. Okay.
Shout out to Queen Censor Court. That's probably more playable than this.
Yeah.
It's inkable.
Because they're printing more queens and princesses. So yeah, then I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, I could have like toolbox, right? I could have Rapunzel. I can have if they ever print another princess that's good, I can put that in my deck. Like like the fact that it says you have to exert a prince. A, you have to have a prince in your deck.
Yeah.
Okay. B, you only have 2 of these.
I don't even know. Like, what are the good princes?
Simba.
Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
just princes, right? You can't exert kings. Like Benj is a king.
No, just prince. Yeah.
Like I tried making Pride Lands. You know, I know some cards that aren't that great. I've dropped dukes on people.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: when you play a Simba and your opponent quests with their 2/2, and you play a duke, you feel like the smartest guy in the room. But I digress.
But I will say, it is important, right? Like flavor win, right? It's 100% a flavor win. But that's all it is. It's all it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad it exists.
Yeah.
I don't, and I think it's funny that you can only have 2 copies. Like, haha, you only have 2 feet. But like, what? There's 4 Donald Ducks that are flustered sorcerers. You got 4 of those in play. It's not like your characters, you can only have 1 in play. It's not like you have 1 Cinderella in your deck. Yeah, I've got 12 Cinderellas in my deck. I can't have 16 glass slippers.
I can't put slippers in all of them.
Yeah. Come on. What? Some of them have to be peasants forever?
That's true.
Okay, Ravensburger, oppressing people.
So Donald Duck here.
Yeah.
There's
Platinum Angel.
Platinum Angel, yeah, for those of you at home. Is a 7-cost uninkable, 5 strength, 6 willpower, 3 lore with your opponents need 25 lore to win the game instead of 20. Does it stack? Guys, does it stack? Hey, if I have 2 of these in play, does it stack? The people on Facebook need to know, all right?
They'll both be active. You need 25.
Right.
For sure.
So you just got to get the 25, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny because like people read this card and they read it as your opponent can't win based on lore.
Yeah.
Not like, like my game against Ferranti, right? I feel bad I keep bringing this up, but it was like I'm at 0 lore, like turn 7, and then it's like quest for 8, quest for 9, quest for 10. Like there are many games that it's not just you barely got by. I mean, there are games that are back and forth, and it's like if one of us top decks a goat, we win, yada yada, the amethyst mirrors. But and then another thing I said about this card in other videos, like can you play this outside of Samothus? Like, can you reasonably have a 7-cost uninkable if you don't have a way to like TPO it when it's bad and stuff like that?
I mean, no.
And you know what? I'd quest with it, like whatever, but like people won't.
Yeah. So really, it's just actually a 7-cost
nothing
blank.
It's a 7-cost 06.
Yeah. No, it's more like it's a 7-cost 5/6 with 0 lore. Like, is that what is that a more fair way?
Yeah, it
says
they
will not quest with this until they are going to hit 20.
Yep, I was going to say has 0 lore until you have 17.
Yeah, and what's funny is like we can just go if we're going to play Sapphire Amethyst, right? We're already playing Elsa, guys, and Elsa may not read my opponent needs to get the 25 lore to win the game, but she does read lock down 2 characters that prevents my opponent from getting 20, and she has 3 willpower or 3 lore, and she's a shift target that can quest it away, and she still has more than 3 strength. Like, so yeah, I mean, like straight up, even in the deck that we say you would play this card, there are already better options.
This is one of those things I was saying where it's like when you put cards in that don't have come into play that aren't actions, you're just making your deck significantly worse against the people who are like, I'm playing Dragonfire today.
Dragonfire might be
a necessary evil.
It might be a weird requirement actually in this.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Listen,
and then give it ward. Yeah, but you can just quest 25. Like this, I feel like people think 25 is unachievable.
No, here's this is I'm pretty sure this is him trolling, but I'm gonna troll him back. And we talk about this all the time, right? All the time in our Metafy Discord. And whenever anyone asks me, and they're like, "Oh, if you give this card something else, okay." So if I have to play a bad card to make my bad card okay, guess what, guys? You're just playing bad cards. Don't play bad cards. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last week. Yeah, we talked about this with Scott, where it's like, oh, well, if it also does this, like all cards need to stand alone in your deck. What's next? Show and tell?
What about the Return of Hercules?
I don't comprehend why anyone
I just want to hold on before he says anything. I just want to let you know, guys, that I did not want to put Return of the Hercules on this list. This is a Dick Burns, and
this is all me.
Even though I don't think this card is that good, I will lean on the side that this card is fun enough to play.
Yeah, sure, it's fun, but people aren't talking about having fun. People are talking about winning tournaments.
I'm worth. I 100% will play this card at some point in the next 3 months in a tournament, guaranteed. Yeah. In a deck that I think can win. I'll even put it that far. That far.
We call that community service. That's what we call that here at TFM. We are obligated to lose a certain amount each month. If people don't know this, I don't know how they don't know this. I mean, I went 0-4 at SSG. We are obligated to let people like what's the other team? Can anyone remember the other team with Sploosh? We're obligated to let these people. Let's see if anyone in chat knows this team, by the way. I'm waiting. We're obligated to let other people win sometimes. Okay? That's just our community service to you guys. We'll put bad cards in your deck, like Mr. Arrow. I'll put Mr. Arrow in my deck. You know. Listen, me and Villain, we're great friends now, but you know, he needed a win.
Guessed wrong, which is so funny.
I know. They're just naming other worse teams. Proving my point. So anyway, it's Freedom Gaming that I'm talking about. No one was ever going to get it. We'd be here until next week. They would have had to come. Someone would have had to wake them up, and they would have had to come and write it. Oh God. Should we let Orion know how many times at Star City Games I played a fun deck to not win a single round?
No. Is she serious right now? Like she comes in like 10 minutes after the conversation's over?
I know, I already said it.
Go home. Go home.
Yeah.
Go back to bed. Oh, perfect. AJ, man, AJ's gonna like unofficially become like he's just gonna take over Melissa's job. I think we're just gonna let AJ have control of the socials and just like let him just talk crap on people. I think it would be hilarious. Oh, but yeah.
What I would like to play this in is multiplayer. Unfortunately, my multiplayer local died. But like the thing is,
ads doesn't even support the channel. All right, doesn't even support the channel, guys. Can't even support the channel. Ads. This one.
You believe the thing is, like, people want to play this with like what does everyone want to play it with? The dragon, right? So now you're playing like this.
I want to play with the Daisy Duck.
The one cost that only costs one, Dan.
No.
I know.
The 8 cost. I want to put Daisy into play.
Right. Yeah. And then, but here's the thing:
it means I'm playing 2 bad cards in my deck.
This is what I'm seeing from people. Oh, I'll put a dragon in play.
Cool.
It'll banish anything they play.
Right.
Well, no, yours happens first.
Yeah. Well, no, you do get to banish theirs though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're playing a deck with no draw power.
Yeah. No. You're playing green red, which is not what I want to be doing.
You're playing Emerald Ruby. Okay, perfect. And then the other thing is like I'll put the 6 cost Mother Gothel in play. That thing shifts for 4. Like,
yeah. No, that's stupid. Don't.
You're paying extra for it.
That's why I want to play the Daisy Duck.
And then here's the other one. I'll just play Ursula or Diablo the turn before to look at my opponent's hand and make sure the coast is clear. It's like, sure. Yeah, I'll play my 1/2 on turn 4 that does nothing. Oh, coast isn't clear. I'll ink this card.
Jorge, you're the best. This is so great. I love it. You just redeemed yourself for at least 10 autocorrects that you hit me with this week. Good job.
Anyway, I think the card is fantastic for Disney Lorcana.
Hold on, I have to cover this one too. Why can't we? Why don't we play this card in Emerald Steel? I answered this on stream yesterday morning, so I'm going to let you take a guess. So what this comment says is that we can play the card in a discard deck.
Right.
Why is the card not good in a discard deck?
Because if your opponent has no cards in here, and you could play a 5-cost 1/1 that quests for 1, and you'll win the game.
Guys, this is why Dick Burns is on the meta report for like 7 weeks in a row. Hasn't been like a year. It's been like a year since he's done that, but at least
I was on it with Amber Steel during set champs. I ignored that comment in Metafy chat because I was just on the meta report.
Yeah, so that's the whole point. You don't need to play it in a discard deck because if your opponent has no cards in hand, you could play any 5-drop and win the game. Like, yeah. What do you need to play this card for?
Unless they're referring to the other All-Star I've been hearing, Emerald Steel putting a Goofy into play.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Hey, how good is Chernobog? Because you could just play Chernobog just as easy, and it's a 9/9 to quest or 3.
9. I mean, well, that's an Amber card. Amber cards are bad. So
no, but the point is what I'm gonna pay 5 to put what's effectively a Chernobog into play. Chernobog's not even played. You can play that for free.
Yeah, no,
I think your opponent gets nothing.
This isn't on the list, but it's the same conversation around the Mickey Mouse, right? And I'll go back and get the Mickey Mouse. We'll put them on stream just so we're not confusing people. But I honestly think the Mickey Mouse is a more playable card than this card in theory, but only because it costs 2. But if we are only discussing cards that have this unique ability, I don't want to do that. My bad, guys. I'm trying to do too many things at once.
Well, while you're doing that, just so everyone knows, because we did get rated. Maybe some people don't know me.
Again,
I'm not. No, earlier. I'm not actually upset. I am being dramatic because people enjoy it. But an actual question, honestly, and not being rude, is what card do you want to put into play?
Yeah,
because that would be we could just name all of the Emerald and Steel cards, but I don't know which one exactly you're asking about.
Yeah, so I think that this card is a more playable card than the Hercules because it costs 2, and there's a lot of opportunity cost with this card. But the real truth is, what I like about this card is I don't ever want to be like, oh man, I'm going to play this Hercules action and I'm going to put a Goofy in my deck, because in every game that I don't have the Hercules action, or in every game that my opponent knows what I'm doing and they just go Pete and gone to, and then pick up my Pete, it means I now have a Goofy in my hand for 3 turns I can literally never play ever. So you can't put cards in your deck like that. And we just talked about it. Dragonfire might actually just be a playable card in this format because you kind of need it to be. So, if you just go, oh, here's my Goofy, and they're like, whatever, Dragonfire it. You didn't do anything with it. So, in my opinion, this card has a better chance to be successful because A, it's a lower resource commitment. It has, it actually has a lore on it when in doubt. So, it's not just a dead card off the top of your deck, even though it's going to look like one. But you also have a better opportunity chance to just play good cards in your deck. So if you just play good cards in your deck, even if this Mickey, if all it does is turn into a genie, it just means you got to literally put a 2/4 with 2 lore into play and evasive, and you draw a card. And that's already insane. Getting to 5 with an Emerald card that might play some, that's the problem. It's every time I think about it, I'm like, what Emerald card do I even want to put into play that costs more than 5? All of the ones I want to play that cost more than 5, they all shift for 5. So I don't know what I'm doing with it. The Mickey, at least I have plans. Like it's like okay, like I know what I can do with this card, and it's a hero. Notable.
Yeah, the Mickey is interesting. You could like cogsort this thing if there's a random 1/1 laying about. Like, there's some fun stuff you can do with the Mickey. I don't think it's good enough. Obviously, I know you don't either, but there are fun things that you can do with the Mickey Mouse.
I just think it's more realistic.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. I think it's more realistic. But I digress, right? Sometimes cards are bad, and for what's worth, if they're flavorful, I get it. Oh, and then the funny part about this was like, all these cards were enchanted. Guys, if you really look at the room, okay, go look at the 18 enchanteds from the previous set and tell me how many of them are playable. it's a real low number, guys. It's a real. We're getting shout outs. We're getting shout outs. There you go. That's for you, Dick.
I appreciate it.
So yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Is that these cards being enchanted? That's not shocking. They love putting like fringe, exciting chase-ish cards that are enchanted. And for what it's worth, I love the Glass Slipper enchanted. I love the Donald Duck enchanted. I do not like the Return of the Hercules enchanted at all. I hate it. There we are.
Well, here's what I think. I think that these are enchanted for the same reason that they do trivia during DLCs, is because they think for some reason people that don't play the game are going to care about the game at all. They think, in my opinion, Ravensburger thinks Disney fans will like just buy this enchanted glass slipper just to like, I don't know, hang on their wall or something.
Okay.
Like, I think if anything, they should just sell all this enchanted artwork as puzzles and posters.
Well, they are making puzzles now. We know that.
Yeah, I know. But like, how cool would it be if like the promo, if you bought a puzzle, was the enchanted of the cards that are never going to get played? Like, listen, if you don't give Dale an enchanted for every card in his deck, he withers away a little. All right.
No, he gets withered away by Robin Hood's bow.
Yeah, Robin Hood's in the forest. With
I don't even remember. I didn't even want to say that card, but I couldn't remember the name of the location.
Sherwood. Yo, the price doubled.
Yeah, from a nickel to 10 cents. Yeah. Oh, we had too much fun. But all in all, super, super excited for where am I getting pings from? What's going on? Oh. Okay. Sorry, I got confused for a second. Yeah. That was a fun one though, because sometimes cards are good, sometimes cards are bad. It is what it is. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. Like for me, I bought 8 T-Bows for 20 cents each. And I sold them for $3 each. Isn't that awesome? That's so awesome.
It's insane.
Cards that are I guess I didn't really think about this. Oh, there was something else. Oh wait, hold on. There's this really, really important thing that I gotta show everybody. Before we get out of here. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. I found it, guys. I need to specifically highlight one more thing before we start landing the plane here, okay? And it is absolutely what is going on here, guys?
Yeah, this was so good. I think it was Katie. Katie was like, yeah, but this is like also his reaction when dinner is like a baked potato with beans on it.
What was that? I mean,
this is why me and Villain are on a team. We're here for entertainment.
I just didn't understand. I was so
excited.
confused.
Gollum came out.
God. I mean, like, seriously, for one moment, right? What card could possibly be enchanted for you to have that reaction?
For me to have that reaction, there couldn't be because there's already enchanted Alice.
There could be another one.
Yeah, but like I didn't get excited about the first one, and
Well,
I
the
don't
card
own one.
sucks.
Yeah, but I'm obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. Which, like, by the way, can I get back on my high horse? Ravensburger. You couldn't give me Tweedledee and Tweedledum? Seriously? I didn't go out and buy this outfit. I've owned this outfit for years. Yeah. Honestly, if I was to get super excited about that over enchantment, it would have to be phallic.
Let's see, what do we got?
Hmm.
So we got muses. Okay. Apparently, Wonderland would be excited for Enchanted Alice. Maui Well.
If it was a card that people asked me to sign all the time, so far I've signed one enchanted in my life, and it was Pride
It would have
Land.
been a good one. That'd have been a cool one. Donald Enchanted. Oh, okay. Gotcha. No, all the enchantments are not revealed. Any plans to go back? Yeah, for sure, 100%. I mean,
I would be shocked if Lady wasn't enchanted.
let's be honest. I'll be honest. Doc Enchanted would be that'd be fire. That would be absolute fire. But yeah, so like you weren't there, okay? Like you missed. Oh wait, yeah, no, you did miss this, right? It happened at Nationals, yeah. So you missed this. I'm not kidding. I talk about this all the time, but seriously, the genuine joy on Melissa's face when just the imagery of Lady was revealed.
She looked like a Lorcana villain.
Out of this world, okay? If there is an enchanted lady, God have mercy on all our souls. I'm with you. I think without a doubt, the one miss for me was definitely a Spectacular Singer. I can't believe that in no way, shape, or form have we ever and may never get an enchanted or Spectacular Singer. That's like the one card for sure that I wish if I could go back and have a do-over, 100% it would be Spectacular Singer. That'd be my pick. But yeah, Doc, that would be great. That'd be cool. I don't know. There's like 10 enchantments revealed, I think. I don't even know if we have them all, but I can check real quick. Oh, I do really like All Is Found because it's adorable. Hello, like super cute. They're asleep. Let's go back. Nope. I'm trying to think like how many. Someone posted what's missing, and obviously it's confusing. I mean, if we had to guess, there has to be a Mushu, right? Like, if they don't make Mushu,
I mean, yeah, that makes
people are
no
going to be
sense.
so mad.
It's such a fan favorite.
Yeah.
What was there also an ink color this set that didn't have like a super rare or something?
So the rarity did get like weirdly messed up because of dual colors.
I don't think I've ever experienced that in Magic,
Like
which
any
is like
card
the
game?
only game I've ever played. Yeah. Like I don't think I've ever experienced it not being completely equal.
Okay. So like I do like this card. It's very nice. It's very cute. Like baby Anna and Elsa is adorable. The Mickey looks cool, right? Like it looks cool. I can get behind it. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird.
But seriously, there's no way I could ever react that way that he did for this. It's just so funny. This looks great.
Yeah, I love the enchanted style this go around.
This looks phenomenal.
I hope
this card
every
is the
set is a
epitome of
different
like
style.
this card's the epitome of Christmas, like AF. Like, love it.
Yeah, like
I do agree with you.
This should be the card that I'm hyped about. As like a huge Alice in Wonderland fan, so much so to name my daughter Alice. If you don't know, the Mad Hatter was my my like secret icon for Villain Club.
Mm.
So like I picked Mad Hatter. You think I would be thrilled. And I don't know. I just don't care. And like, I have a huge Disney collection. I have shelves in my house full of Disney stuff.
Mm.
It's weird.
This is absolute. I mean, this card is trash. Like, this card's actually like complete trash. But this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, just because of how good this card looks, it's going to be worth something. 100%. Like, beautiful card.
I don't think my kids know Descendants.
Oh,
I'm responding to chat.
I think we were supposed to talk about this. We forgot to.
Oh, well, this card's great. I thought that the non-foil would still be extended art.
No, we knew that it was going to be black bordered.
Okay.
It was announced that way.
Oh, that's what Scott was saying before.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be black bordered.
Okay. What a great comment. That does look like Vegeta.
Yeah, 100%. Or
Gatling
like kid Gohan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like people are looking at this card and they're like, yeah, well, how often do you shift stuff? I think if you just shifted this, it's such a beating for so many decks.
It's a 4/6. What is evasive N word, right? With 3 lore,
Yeah.
like the card just gas.
If you and it's in Sapphire, like you can reasonably play this turn 4.
Yeah.
How does anyone remove it?
It's I mean, Maui or bust. Oh, it's evasive. Jesus. Yeah, this card's great.
Yeah, like if
they reprint a whole new world, yeah, okay.
I think if they oh my god, he does look like the guy from the Gorillas. I think if they didn't have this as an enchanted in the set, plus it being a set champs promo, it would actually be a desirable set champs promo again.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's the problem, right? Because we have this one too. I do think on average that this one looks way better.
It looks so much better, but it's going to lower the value of both of them just by like the abundance of them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as long as, let's put it this way, as long as this is $100, I think it's okay.
I would safely assume this is like $50, especially considering the amount the people like me who are only going to play with the free one.
No, I mean, I love that. That's the whole point, though,
Yeah.
is that I think more people will keep these, and that means more people will sell these, right?
But there'll be less buyers.
But there'll be less buyers for the people that are selling it. So that's why I think it'll hold ground at 100, whereas the scars are like literally like, I mean, they're almost worthless.
The scars are in a big pile for me to give away at my store for tournament prizes.
And then, oh my god, this is... I can't believe they made this Enchanted.
I really thought the Enchanted was going to be like when it was the Blacklight version of him.
Yeah. I mean, that would still... I mean, but we don't know what it looks like foil, right?
Yeah.
Like, the foil might showcase some of that.
How funny, how awesome would that be?
It would be awesome. 100%. It would be like...
What if you could hold a Blacklight? What if you could hold a Blacklight to it? And it had like hidden ink.
Yeah, it's like this. I'm not. This card is already minimum day one $300 card, like minimum, in my humble opinion. And I think that if the card does turn out to be one of the better cards in the set, and it is prominent in the metagame, I think it's going to be easily the second most expensive Enchanted ever printed, which is crazy because it's been a little while since we've really had that. If we're being, you know, so. Yeah, this card's fire. And then, yeah, man, show me more. I love this art. It's so good. I hope that because of this is an action and, like, most of these cards that have been printed, that this is only, like, a $50 Enchanted in 3 weeks, and I just buy 4 of them.
Yeah, Southern Dan is also buying 4 of these.
I'm just going to wait for it to tank. I'm going to buy them, and then I'm going to win a tournament with it and be like, yeah, thanks, guys. I'm going to ed with this card, okay? This is my Finders Keepers.
I like that he's a verb. Look at the adjective. Ed.
This is a beautiful card, but man, is it bad. So
yeah.
But yeah, I really do. And then I said I really dislike this one. I don't like that in the normal art it showed more of like the scenery, and then you just get this up close of the characters. It just makes me feel like it's a character, but it's not. So I wish that it was just like a way better view of the actual gate. I think it would be like just so much cooler. But whatever, is what it is. And then this thing that you'll throw at people. Oh, I is this all of them? I think that's all of them. Oh, it's this thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked by this. All right, people can laugh at me. I have no idea what this is from.
I don't know. I don't know what
It seems like either an original because it has the scrolls on it, which are like these scrolls are in a lot of different art for Arcasia's Island. Like Jasmine is reading these scrolls, for instance.
Yeah.
Or it's from like Atlantis or something that I haven't seen.
I genuinely don't know where this card's from. I have no clue.
Chat, let me know. Embarrass me.
As if you need that with your Tweedledee hat on.
I look fantastic.
You look fantastic, he said.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Gotcha. I mean, whatever helps you sleep at night, you know?
Rescuers.
Rescuers?
Interesting. Was in Rescuers Down Under or just the Rescuers?
Okay.
I've watched the Rescuers Down Under a ton.
The world's biggest diamond and the main reason Madame Medusa ambition. Haha.
Thank you.
There you go. Things I would definitely not know for 100.
Well, you know, if you watch a DLC, they'll
I play in DLCs. I don't watch them.
This random trivia for you.
Is that really what happens like all day long?
That is what I've been told.
Okay.
I don't watch the coverage back. I tried watching once and then they removed me. So.
Oh, okay. I remember the last thing we have to do, Dick.
Oh, raid
we
people?
Answer our questions from the Discord. I didn't make a stream, so I'm just going to read them. But there's a couple good ones. Let's see. So, from AJ, what decks are you looking to play with? If it's your normal deck, what additions do you like? Any new deck archetypes that you want to try out? We kind of talked about this a little bit, but is there any, aside from the Penny, is there anything else going in Amber Steel?
I'm not even looking to play with Penny. I just think she's interesting. Now I'm interested in, you know, I think I might just play Ruby Sapphire for once. I just never play that. No one plays at my locals. So like, I know for a fact.
Well, it's because you have to show up to locals and beat people with a deck, so then other people show up to locals with that deck.
That's true. Yeah. But like, I know for a fact when I go to my one locals, because, and by my one, I mean the only one, there could be 20 people and no one is playing Ruby Sapphire, which means like everyone gets to have fun. I kind of want to like start getting the community a little better at the game. So I feel like I should just play the deck that they are going to play against the most.
Right.
And then like Ink Geyser is like too mean. Like I cannot bring, like I brought Bend the 1 week and everyone just asked me not to ever do that again. So I was like, okay, I won't.
I believe that. I'm 100. I already said I'm looking to play nothing but Ink Geyser for the next month. So yeah, I will be that guy.
But meanwhile, I'm the mean one, according to everyone that watches.
Yeah, whatever. I was at Set Champs. I bend my will a 9-year-old child. Like I did it. Like, you know, like it happened. What do you want me to do? You know, I'm also a believer that like, hey, you got to play the game to get good at it. So that kid lost to bend my will that day. You know, whatever. Stuff happens. I was nice about it, I think. Jorge, how does the card reveal process work? When do you learn that you'll get a card reveal? And when are you told which card you'll be revealing? Are you told what time to do the reveal? So generally speaking, as content creators, we get reached out to. They ask us if we want to do it. We say yes on average, because I mean, I don't know why you would say no. And then generally there's like a grace period where you're waiting for your card, and then once you get your card, in this particular time, we did have to tell Ravensburger exactly when we were going to be revealing, because they did that whole community highlight where they made social posts about it and things like that. So this time you did. In the past, for other ones, I don't know if it had to be like some specific time that we had to tell people, but this time they wanted to know because they wanted to highlight the community. So they wanted, that's why they had that giant list in the Discord of like everyone that was revealing and things like that. At least with the original list, I know, there were players that were, or there were content creators that were at it after the fact that didn't get included in that social post or anything like that. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like, they ask you, you say yes, and then you just go from there. And there are like some guidelines and stuff. Like there's things that you have to do and shouldn't do, and some people listen to them and some people don't, and some people get in trouble for talking shit. So do that with what you may. We already did the other question. Okay, this is a good question from Ben, which is really funny. Shout out to Ben. He he wrote a question in the questions for the podcast thing, and then he went to type again, and he realized that it's a 6-hour slow mode, and he goes, "Why is it 6 hour slow mode?" I'm like, "Well, because I don't want there to be a conversation in there. I want there to be questions asked." But then I gave him the hack, but I'm not going to tell everyone the hack, because if you can figure it out, you get it. But I gave him a hack of how to fix it.
Yeah, don't give Cortez the hack.
Yeah, I'm not going to give it to Jorge, but he can figure it out if he wanted to. How do you know when you see a new card that the potential deck can be built around it? So like this goes a long way. The example is for Ink Geyser, but if you can think of another card in the set that when you looked at it, you're like, oh, okay, like what can I do with this, and how, like, what is it that that click moment? And I think this is something you and I talk about quite often. There's something that Dick has actually worked on, an entire thing that will eventually get put on the Metafy for people. But it is a really difficult question. It's a really difficult thing to explain specifically to new players, in my opinion. For us, I don't know, 20, 25 years, 50 years probably combined between the two of us of like literally reading cards, and you just can't you can't teach that. You just can't, like, the time and experience is not transferable. And then the issue is that it's almost like driving a car, right? Like, you just get in the car and drive. It's that simple of an equation. So when these cards come out and when you read it, it's so easy for us to just in our mind just know, because we've just been doing it for so long. But can you at least give me can you try to explain it for me?
Yeah, one simple thing in this game is the card good on its own? Like, there are cards, sure, like if you're losing and you draw Ink Geyser, you still lose, right? But like, is the card good on its own at least like 50 to 75% of the time? Like a Whole New World, right? You can still win with that card without singing it. And then if you're going to build a deck around it, not only is the card good on its own, is it even better with other cards that are also good on their own? So like, look at Sapphire Coil. I could see playing that card just because can your opponent ever quest? That card is just fine on its own. But then when you look at something like Big Sisu or Human Sisu that are also good on their own, then you have a deck that maybe this card was a 5 and this card was a 5, and you think that would just like make it here, but it actually brings it way up here.
Yeah.
So that's how you can look at a specific card and say, can I build a deck around this? When it comes to individual cards, you kind of just have to figure out, like, what do people have on specific turns? It's kind of like chess. It's like, okay, I know my opponent is going to have a 3/3 on turn 3. If they print a 4/4 that costs 3, like Lawrence or the new Snake, you just should know, just from playing the game so much, that card is very good without having to have someone explain it to you. And then that's the difference between playing a card that's good on rate which would be Lawrence or the Snake, versus a card that you're going to build a deck around. Like, you don't look at Lawrence. You look at Lawrence and you put in almost every steel deck, but you don't look at it and say, I have to play steel now.
And for what I'm going to, because you specifically used Lawrence, Lawrence was in this game for a long time before people started playing it.
Yeah.
This wasn't a card that was a slam dunk either. Like, most players really looked at his ability as so negative that he was not the right card to play. So for a very long time, like, the vast majority of Lorcana didn't play that card. So that's also just saying, like, hey, sometimes you don't see it right away. Sometimes you read a card and you're like, oh, it's not it, but then something else comes out later and now it makes you go back and you go, oh, okay, like, wait a minute, there is something here. And that actually happens probably more times than not. Like, there's definitely, for example, the Bell, right? The Ruby Sapphire Bell, when they first released that card, I mean, everyone on the planet's like, what are we going to shift onto that even is remotely relevant? Like, what are we going to do with this card? Why would anyone play this card? Well, they literally made a Bell in the set that fuels the Bell itself, and it's a shift target. So you're like, oh, all right, I get it. Like okay, like, I get it, guys. How do other games reveal new sets? Well, if you're Magic the Gathering, you just do it every day. So
yeah, I mean, Magic, they would post on the mothership, which was a reason to go on there every day. They also had articles on there.
Yep.
So, like, that was great. Like, Ravensburger doesn't hire people to write articles. Like, you have to go seek them out in personal Metafies. Shout out to our Metafy or TCG player or something like that. So they would give a reason for you to go to their website every single day by posting their own reveals. And it wouldn't be like 30 at a time. It'd be like 1 or 2 a day. And they would keep them on their own website in its own little section with high quality images and stuff like that. But they would also pitch out to, like, TCG player gets a reveal. Professional players, their content creators get reveals. So it's very similar to the way that we do it now, but we don't have to have third-party sites keeping track of everything for us.
Yeah, which is fair, right? I think it's interesting, but yeah, I haven't followed another game, I don't even know, in like forever. So I have no idea. The only reason I even see Magic is just because of how the Facebook algorithm works. Like, I have so many friends that just still play Magic that I just innately see that a card's being spoiled.
A ton of people sent me a certain island. If you're a Magic player, you probably know.
Fair. With the meta in set 6 of about 5 A to S tier decks, however you want to put it, in the meta, where we can get another 5 potential. I'm sorry. All right, we're going to start over. Okay. I got to read this one again.
I had a hard time reading it as well. It's not you.
With a meta in set 6 of about 5 S tier decks going into the meta, where we can get another 5 potentially with set 7. Are there other games where the field is this diverse? Is it usually closer to where Green Steel Bucky dominated? It feels like this is reactionary set, and the longtime favorites of Amber Steel Songs and Red Purple Bounce got a few new cards.
Okay, so I played Magic before they started doing before they started making those modern sets that the cards automatically went into modern. Like, I played Magic where something had to be printed into standard to go into modern. If anyone knows the names of the sets, it's escaping me right now. So you can leave a comment.
Not the Modern Master sets?
No, Modern Master is reprinted stuff, right?
Okay. I don't know the name of them.
Yeah. So when last time I played Modern, there was genuinely like 12 different decks. Modern Horizons. Thank you, Orion. Last time I played Modern, there was like 12 different decks that were tier 1.
Orion beat the Wizard. I just wanted to point it out. Got him by like a half of a second.
Yeah. So I heard, and I'm also told that Standard right now is very healthy and diverse for Magic. And Standard is always very small pool, which could go one of either ways. There's some block formats, which was only like 3 sets where like one deck is just clearly broken because there's so little cards. But yeah, I back when I played Magic, almost all the formats there was always at least 6, 7, 8 decks that you would not be shocked if they won a 2,000 person Grand Prix. I don't know anything about Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, anything like that.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't have a fair comparison. I have no clue. Who cuts / styles Dan's hair? It always looks impeccable.
It was me.
Well, first and foremost, thank you. Secondly, my wife cuts it, and I this is just what it looks like when I wake up, guys. If you were planning to play in the Encounter 1.5K, what deck would you consider to play?
If I was going to play in the Encounter, I would definitely play something that showcases the new set, but selfishly, because we are content creators, I've like resigned to being a content creator first and a player second. At this point, I get much more joy out of not being super competitive and meeting people and just hanging out than I do over like, if I don't top 8 this, my day is ruined. If that makes sense. So like I would definitely try to play something that I think I could win the tournament and that would be interesting to be on the meta report.
My first question going into week 1 would be, am I utilizing this tournament as a benchmark for where I am currently in the deck that I believe I will be playing in bigger tournaments? So if that was my goal, if my only goal was to say, hey, I'm going to go to CCS in a few weeks, I need to use this tournament to get as much information I possibly can to make the best decisions for CCS, right? Like if that's what I was doing, then I would probably play whatever version of deck that I believe I'll be playing in a few weeks. That would be number 1. If this was the only tournament that I was playing in and I had no idea what the next event was, I'm a firm believer that aggro in week 1 is the best thing that you can be doing. So I would very likely just throw 22 1-cost characters into my Doc deck. I would play Amethysteel Doc, and I would beat all of my opponents on turn 5 before they ever begin to figure out if they're going to Ink Geyser me or if they're going to, however many Ruby Sapphire cards they're going to play. Like, I would definitely play 4 Peats in my deck. I would play some number of Gontu in my deck. Like, I would literally just play a deck that says, I'm not going to lose to be prepared, and I'm going to be just fine into Sisu lines and force my opponent to figure it out. The third option is what Dick said, where I'm like, there's some crazy deck that nobody's talking about, and I just want to put it on camera for 2 rounds. I'll play that. But yeah, if I were playing, which I am officially not playing in the Encounter because I am casting it, streaming it, and I'm the judge. All right, I'm officially all 3 of those things, so I will not be playing in it. That's what I would do, though. I would probably just like lean into whatever deck I'm going to play in the next tournament, or whatever like deck that I think I will be participating the most tournaments with by playing. I would just use week 1 as the benchmark. There's no better information than live gameplay. We can play a million games. You know, Dick and I could literally spend all next week on Pixelborn Connect playing a million games. But until you get into a tournament setting with other people that think differently than, you know, what you are in your own little hole, you can't learn everything. So that's where I'm at. That's what I would do.
Are you you're an official?
Official
at the Encounter? You're judging?
Yes.
Oh, well, you're officially turning me on.
There you go. There you go. Will you ever drop the video / modify article on selling on TCG Player? Hey, Scott, I know you're asleep. Okay? Hey, Jorge, do me a favor. Put that in the chat right now so I can highlight it. So when Scott watches this sometime tomorrow, he'll know that we called him out. We do have so I don't have it up, and I don't have anywhere to show you guys yet. But we do have the first chapter of the Arceus Island guide set and done, and it is the buyer's guide for Arceus Island. So that I do believe will be out tomorrow. So the first chapter of the new guide will be out tomorrow, and that is Scott Landis breaking down the what he believes will be the top 10 cards for sales for the opening week. Whether or not we agree with all of them is the perfect debate for it all. But yeah, it is coming. That's the answer. Okay, like this is the question that Jorge is asking. We've been talking about this for, I don't know, since we started Metafy. Actually, we talked about it even on Patreon before Metafy. So it is something that is incomplete. There is a lot of content that's already been made for this. I've actually been recording content for it as well because for those of you who don't know, I started a brand new TCG player store so I could actually kind of like go through with the guide itself as a way to showcase like, hey, these are the things that Scott is presenting, and then here's the actual success of doing these things. So I can tell you that I started a new store. I think it's maybe 4 weeks ago now, and I'm already seller level 3. I think I'm very close to seller level 4 within a month. And the whole goal actually was to hit seller level 4 before Arceus Island came out. That was kind of the goal that I had set for myself, and I'm pretty close to it. But yeah, there's a whole guide coming out for it. And listen, we can save this probably for a week where Scott's actually on because he actually likes to talk about geeky finance stuff, unlike me. But I think it's nice. It's a very good piece of information for all card players. Like, you know, what to do with your leftover cards. It's a big deal. So, you know, I don't want to get into it now because we've already been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it is coming. We are working on it, and hopefully, you know, hopefully hopefully it does eventually get out there. But that is sometimes that is the problem. There's like so much to do and so much to be had, and there's only enough time in the day to do everything. And Dick Burns is busy doing other stuff now. So
it's true. My wife working me to bone.
To the bone. Well, it's been fun.
Yes, always.
Always. I do think next week, I've already confirmed a guest for next week. So that should be fun. So everyone can look forward to a guest for next week. It is a friend that you guys know. Has not been on the channel, though. First time on the channel. So that'll be fun. I didn't even tell Dick about it yet.
We have to make sure to not have anything dramatic on.
No. Well, as long as nothing happens in the next week. You're getting yelled at again. But yeah, so it should be fun. It's pretty great that we're already like completely revealed in some way. I am ready. I am 100% ready to start playing with Set 7. And now that we have all of the cards on Dreamborn, I am super excited to build a bunch of bad decks. I didn't mean that, but a bunch of decks that I think that, you know, people can play. That's always fun. I've only gotten, you know, we talk about Colby all the time. I've only gotten three Colby things so far, where he only sent me 3 decks. He normally sends me like 15. He got busy. He only sent me the good decks today, guys. Although one of those decks was a 79 card Emerald Sapphire Ink Geyser deck. So I don't think that's the one we want to talk about.
I have been interested in a Pirates deck.
The green steel?
I don't know yet. So
Okay.
we'll see. Maybe I'll send you something bad. I know a lot of people in the comments were saying they enjoy their theme decks. So if anyone wants to see,
yeah, it was actually.
Anyone wants to see some theme decks, I would love to come up with just some fun decks that people can like vibe off of.
I mean, listen, at the end of the set, I was talking about in Metafy chat, we had a Chippendale deck. I literally tested. I tested. It didn't last long, It didn't last long, guys. All right, it didn't. I played 4 games against Ben. I was like, this deck's trash. But I literally tested a Chippendale deck for Colby for Miami. So yeah. we do play fun decks from time to time, mostly when we think that there's actually at any level that they might be broken, but they weren't. But yeah, this is something we talked about Colby with, because Colby, he's literally won set championships with ducks, for crying out loud. But yeah, I think there's definitely content to be had around that, and Metafy is the perfect place for it, if all honesty. And honestly, even the socials, we have a new little sub goal for socials that, for the last 2 weeks, obviously we've made 1 million social posts because all the new cards that came out. But we want to try and be more active on non-spoiler seasons. So there's probably going to be some stuff on socials that's just like, hey, here's the deck of the day, here's a card of the day. And we're just going to be like, someone on the team is going to write about it. Spoilers. That's why I had everyone on the team, even though only like 4 of you guys did it, like 40%. I think it's 4 out of 10, right? I think there's 10 people on the team now. 4 of you did it. All right. Just saying, right? Some of you are in chat right now that didn't do it. All right.
Who didn't do it?
Some of you are in chat right now that didn't do it. But it should be fun. We should have at least what about what? What about, what is Melissa trying to get our attention about?
Something in Messenger.
Oh,
I'm not getting yelled at if it's inappropriate. But yeah, I didn't know if James was supposed to do that. He's not in that chat.
Oh, yeah, he is in that chat. He could have done it.
I thought I looked and he wasn't.
Gotcha.
Because I'll DM him because he has all notifications off.
Yeah. But anyway, so I made the team write some stuff, and that's going to be posted on socials. We actually did post the first thing on Metafy today, though, for it. So, and shout out to Mr. Scott Landis, who's sleeping, but he wrote me his top 5 cards he's excited to play with. Now, I just want to be specific. It literally says, Scott, my non-Sapphire Coil list. So this is up on the Metafy already, and we're gonna be keep putting those out over the next couple days, and I'll put it in chat for you guys just in case. We're up to 260 followers on Metafy, guys. A couple weeks ago, this was only 200, so like that's 60 people in a few weeks. So shout out to you guys that have been following. It does mean a lot. Again, in any way that you want to help us, support us, Metafy is the number one way to do it, and it's not even close. But yeah, so there's gonna be more of those coming out, and yeah. I don't know. I'm very excited to finally start. I've been talking about these cards nonstop. I have done more streams in the last 10 days than I think I did like all of last year. My voice is hurting. It's not true, but I'm excited that the set's finally out, and at least now we can start making the real content. Like I could talk about cards forever. Now I got to actually put them in the practice. So should be fun though. But thank guys, everyone. You guys were super active tonight in chat. You guys are awesome per usual. Again, shout out to JD Quest for the raid. Super awesome. A couple new follows tonight. Thank you. It's been so much fun. Is Metafy pre-recorded or live? The answer is both. We actually have not done an event yet on Metafy, but I was talking to Mr. David Nunez. Nunez and I are the coaches on Metafy, and we think that we are going to do an event, which is like a ticketed purchase thing that you can kind of like go and purchase. And we're going to do a private session, probably it can only hold 50 people, but I think we're going to do it next Friday. I have to confirm that with Nunez, but I think next Friday is when we're going to do it. And we're probably just going to do like a literal live coaching session with just the audience. And we'll probably put out some stuff in our Metafy Discord of what questions like people really want to get answered, what decks people want to get covered. So I think we're going to do like this whole event thing that it's probably going to be next Friday that you'll be able to go on, and it'll be on Metafy live for the 50 people there. And then it'll be like purchasable on Metafy after that. So you need to make a thing to make me spend. I do. Listen, Wonder. We talk about this. Not a Twitch guy. I don't know how these stuff works, but I think that you're right. I do. I need some stuff. All right. And listen, I'm gonna put my, all right. I don't have a scissors. Okay. I put my scissors in the ground. I will be streaming Pixelborn Connect in March. All right. Promise right now that I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to playing games of Pixelborn Connect on streams, because in all honesty, I I did a lot of morning streams this week, and I had a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun communicating with people. So I'm gonna commit to it that I'm gonna be doing some morning streams throughout the week. All right, I promise. And then with that, we'll come up with some dumb thing that people can spend channel points on. All right, we'll do it. Dick will probably come up with something stupid. It'll be great, and then I'll just do it. All right, but we've been going on forever. Again, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in next week, if not sooner. Who knows? See you guys.